Donald Trump is demanding an apology from the New York Times after the paper called his latest comments outrageous. At a rally in South Carolina Tuesday, Trump appeared to impersonate a disabled reporter. He was one of the authors of a 2001 Washington Post article that Trump has used to back up his claims that Muslim Americans were seen celebrating after the September 11th attacks.
Written by a nice reporter. Now the poor guy, you got to see this guy. Oh, I don't know what I said. I don't remember. He's going like, I don't remember. Oh, maybe that's what I said. This is 14 years ago. They didn't do a retraction. 14 years ago, they did no retraction.
The reporter in question is Sergei Kovaleski, who's now an investigative reporter with the New York Times. You can see him there on the right-hand side of your screen. And that left-hand side of your screen is the image that many are calling with Donald Trump as outrageous. Kovaleski suffers from a physical disability that limits the movements of his arms. Congressional correspondent Nancy Cordes joins us from Washington with the latest controversy today. And Nancy, it's not surprising, I don't think, that it appears there's another tussle between Donald Trump and the media. What is the latest from both camps on this point?
Well, Donald Trump claims that he didn't know Serge Kovaleski, that he had never seen him, so he couldn't have been impersonating him or making fun of his disability. He says he was just doing his reenactment of what he thinks a flustered reporter would look like when trying to retract a story. Kovaleski, on the other hand, says not so. And in an interview with his own paper, the New York Times, he said, Donald and I were on a first-name basis for years. He says, I've interviewed him in his office. I've talked to him at press conferences. All in all, I'd say around a dozen times I interacted with him as a reporter while I was at the New York Daily News. Back then, he covered Donald Trump's business exploits for that paper. And so you've got a real difference of opinion here. Donald Trump often likes to say that he's got the world's greatest memory, but in this case, he says that Kovaleski sure must think an awful lot of himself to think that Trump would remember him after all these years.
Well, that's true. Trump has pointed out several times that he has a great memory. Is anyone going to believe him when he says that he didn't know this reporter?
You know, it's hard to believe him, especially when you see the clip, as you played, where he said at the very beginning, he's a nice guy, but you got to get a look at this guy. Those aren't the kinds of things that you say when you don't know someone or when you haven't seen them, especially when it's Donald Trump, who, you know, let's be honest, often doesn't express a lot of affection or love for members of the press. So the fact that he said that he's a nice guy at all is pretty notable. The interesting thing here is that not only is Trump not apologizing, but he's claiming that he's the one who needs an apology from the New York Times, and he's actually continuing to heap more insults on Kovaleski himself. In a statement, he says that Kovaleski should stop, quote, using his disability to grandstand and should get back to reporting.
Trump went on Twitter, and it's quite a lengthy statement that he put on the social media site. It also seems that this may not hurt him that much. I mean, when you look at the Iowa polling, he's still the front runner in that case. Do you think this will have an impact on the campaign moving forward? Maybe people have kind of slowed down over the holidays, and once they learn of this issue, maybe go, whoa, wait a minute.
You know, it's hard to say. These are the kinds of comments that would knock any other candidate out of the running, especially when you consider that this isn't the first person or group he's insulted this week alone. He also said that Muslim Americans should be tracked more closely than they are now, that U.S. mosques may need to be shut down. He seemed to condone an assault on a black protester at one of his rallies. You know, so far in the polls, he seems to be Teflon. So it's hard to say if this will change anything. You know, certainly it does, you know, seem like a kind of a new low to be making fun of someone's disability. But he's had a couple of lows in the past. Remember when he made fun of Carly Fiorina's face, saying, look at that face, who would want that to be president? And it didn't hurt him then. So it's hard to say whether these comments will hurt him now.
Boy, we'll just have to see what he says next. Nancy Cordes, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
So what happened is very simple. I said this, and all of a sudden, because I said it very, very expressively, and again, I'm trying to show somebody groveling to take back the statement he made, because he wanted to take it back because it wasn't good for the people that he knows and likes at the New York Times, the Washington Post, etc. He did this when he was at the Washington Post. So I was very expressive in saying it, and they said I was mocking him. I would never mock a person that has difficulty. I would never do that. I'm telling you, I would never do it. I would never do it. I would never do it. I don't care if I liked the person or didn't, and I don't know this person. So now this person is going around saying, I did know him, that he reported on me in the 1980s, and all of that stuff, right? I don't know him. I really don't know him. I was very expressive in saying it. I don't take that back because the person was groveling in terms, if you read his statements about, well, did you say this and did you write this paragraph? He was really grasping for straw. And I will tell you that it is just such a shame when a disgusting newspaper like the New York Times, when some of the media, like CNN in particular, was just really unfair. When they say things that were so unfair, people that have disability, hi folks, people that have a difficulty, I cherish them. These are incredible people, and I just want to put that to rest. I didn't know him. It's possible, probable that I met him somewhere along the line, but I deal with reporters every day. Many of them I never even see. There are many people that I know even by name, although I don't remember his name, and I do have a great memory, but I will tell you, I don't know him. Now he's going, well, he knew me, and we were on first name. Give me a break. Give me a break. And the problem is, he's using what he's got to such a horrible degree. I think it's disgraceful that what he's got. And I think the New York Times, frankly, should give me an apology. I do. I think they should give me. And I'd love to have the apology before they go out of business. I would love that. I would love it.
Donald Trump facing new criticism for something he did on the campaign trail last night in South Carolina while defending his debunked claim that he saw thousands of Muslims celebrate the collapse of the Twin Towers here in New York. He appeared to mock a reporter with a disability. Take a look.
Written by a nice reporter. Now the poor guy, you got to see this guy. Oh, I don't know what I said. I don't remember. He's going like, I don't remember. Oh, maybe that's what I said. This is 14 years ago. They didn't do a retraction.
That reporter he is talking about is Serge Kovaleski, who now works for the New York Times. As you can see right there, he suffers from a chronic condition that impairs movement of his arms. A Times spokesman says they find it outrageous that Trump would ridicule the man's appearance.